All right, guys, we got the leg day. And like I said yesterday, there's going to be a few switch ups in today's day. And a removal of a arguably important exercise. So yeah, like last time, we're starting off with the Smith SLDL. And, unfortunately, we lost quite a bit of strength on this one. We were doing 175 for like 8 reps last session. But now I'm down to like 135, and it's feeling pretty heavy even still. Of course, this was a pretty new exercise for me, a hip hinge. And like the neurological adaptation, probably diminished pretty quickly due to this being such a new exercise for me. And then I just stopped doing it for like almost a month out of the blue. So I'm gonna have to relearn like some of the form. Obviously, I'm just gonna have to readapt to this exercise again. I'm sure the weight will go up astronomically like it was. It was going up like lots every session. And, like I said, that's due to the neurological adaptation. Once you start doing, a new exercise more, you adapt to it. You get better at it really quickly, and so the weight goes up really quickly. But anyways, let's get into the first set here. I'm still not feeling like perfect, so we're still gonna keep the RPE around that 8 or 9. We're not gonna push to failure on a lot of these sets, but let's get into it. All right, that was pretty tough. This is a pretty freaking fatiguing exercise. It's a pretty heavy compound. Holy shit. Well, yeah, that was probably an RPE of like 9 to 9.5. Yeah, that last rep was a bit of a struggle, but I think I might have been able to get one more rep. I'm not 100% sure. So we'll write an RPE of 9.5. And I don't even know how many reps I got. I lost count. I think it was 8. But I'll look back at the footage and adjust it on my app once I go home and start editing. We're gonna rest for like 4 minutes probably, and then go into our second set, because we're now gonna start doing 2 sets on every leg exercise on our leg day. So that's one of the switch ups that I'm doing on my leg days going forward, is 2 sets on everything. All right, the rest for our first set is coming to an end here. 8 reps on our first set, RPE of 9.5. We're probably gonna try and get like 5 reps this set and keep that RPE a little lower. Because, I don't want to be pushing myself too hard right now. And that last set was quite brutal. Okay. Okay, 5 reps. That was pretty good. I'd say that was a RP of 8 probably. I know for sure I could have gotten, we'll say an RP of 8. I definitely could have got 2 more. That felt pretty good though. I noticed like when I start, at the bottom of this exercise, you know, instead of like starting with it up here. So you're starting in the eccentric, which is what most people do. I start in the concentric now, which is obviously starting from the bottom. And really the only reason why I do that is because you start in the concentric of every other movement, right? You know, except for like a traditional bench press or a traditional squat, you know, you start in the eccentric of all of those. But like, think of like a dumbbell press, you're starting in the concentric. Pec fly, concentric. Any row, concentric, right? So, yeah, starting in the concentric, which is the flexing portion of the movement, I feel like that's better. I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong, I'm not really too sure, but that's what I'm gonna do going forward on a lot of these exercises that, you know, you traditionally start in the eccentric. And I mean, I don't do a lot of exercises where you start that way, but this way, I feel like it just standardizes everything a little more. But anyways, we're gonna move on to some lying leg curls now. All right, so lying hamstring curl now. We're doing 2 sets. We didn't do any warm-ups because the hammies are nice and warm. Last time we did 130 for 7 at an RPE of 10. We're going down 20 pounds. So, I mean, obviously we have to go down in weight a bit due to the missing the last 3 weeks. But also we're now doing this exercise earlier in the workout, so there's gonna be less, you know, systemic fatigue. So instead of going down like a lot, actually wait, what do I have? Yeah, 110. So we're only going down 20 pounds, and that should be fine. I'm gonna try and go for like 8 reps. And the reason why we're doing hammies now, right after our SLDL, is just because I want to prioritize them a bit more. I haven't put a lot of work into my hamstrings, so yeah, we're gonna start doing it this way going forward so that we can prioritize the hamstrings a little bit more. Anyways, let's get into the first set here. Okay, first set, I think I got 8 reps, probably an RPE of 8.5 there. Definitely could have got 1 more, might have been able to get 2. So we'll write 8 reps, RPE of 8.5, and then we'll rest up for a couple minutes, go into our second set and try and get around 6 reps. Okay, the rest of our first set is coming to an end. We're about to get into the second set here. We're aiming for 6 reps. Around a similar RP, you know, around 8 to 9 roughly. Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Okay, that wasn't bad. It was starting to get a little hard there, so probably similar RP, 8.5. Okay, now we are going to move over to the leg extension. All right, we're doing the leg extension now. We were doing 140 last session. We did 140 for 8. We went down to 125, and we're going to try and get around 7 or 8, RPE of around 8. And we are doing this unilaterally, like last time, because, you know, I've maxed out the cable stack, so there's a stack here, and I don't want to buy a gym pin. So doing it unilaterally is our best option. Okay, we're gonna go for around 7 or 8 reps here with 125. Okay, we got 7. That was actually a little bit harder than I would have liked. I'd say that was an RPE of 9. But that's okay. We're gonna rest up for a minute here and then go into our right leg. Okay, gonna get into the first set on our right leg. We might go for like 6 reps because that's going for 7 on our left leg there is a little harder than I would have liked. And I know I said an RPE of around 8 or 9, but ideally I want to be hitting an RPE around 8 because RPE of 9 it's a little more exhausting than I'd like right now. So we might go for 6 reps here. And then we might even lower the weight for our second set just so that we can kind of match and get around 6 reps again. Anyways, let's get into the first set on our right leg here. Okay, yeah. So 6 reps, probably an RP of 8, maybe an RP of 7.5, but kind of hard to tell. So we'll write an RP of 8. And yeah, I think we're gonna lower the weight to, let's see, it's at 125. Let's go 110. We'll lower it by 10 pounds. So we'll do 115 on our next set. And try and get around similar reps. Maybe like 6 reps on our left leg and then 6 reps on our right leg as well. And a similar RPE, like around 8. So, but yeah, we're gonna rest up for a few minutes here and then do the second set on our left leg. All right, the rest for our first set is done. So we're gonna go into the second set on our left leg here. And we've got, we decreased the weight to 115. So we're gonna try and get around a similar rep range and a similar RPE. Okay, well, we got 5 reps instead of 6. Yeah, probably an RP of 8.5 there. So 5 reps, RP of 8.5. Definitely could have got 1 more. Don't know about 2. But we're gonna rest up for a minute, go into our second set on our right leg, and probably get around the same 5 or 6 reps. Okay, the rest is done. Gonna do our second set of the right leg and try and get around 5 or 6 reps. Okay, 6 reps, pretty good. Honestly, that was probably an RP of like 7.5. I feel like I could have kept going. You know, obviously the right leg's a little stronger than the left leg, but we'll write an RP of 8. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, and then when we're feeling back to 100%, we go too high on all the weights. So we'll keep it tame. We'll slowly gain back the strength on everything. Anyways, we're gonna move over and do some abs now, and then some calves, and then we're done. Oh wait, no, we're not. We have one more Actually, no, we have one more exercise to do before abs. And then we're going to abs and then calves. All right, so the exercise that we replaced the leg press with is some hip adduction. Now, the reason why I'm removing a squat pattern from my leg day is, first of all, it's a little more fatiguing than I'd like it to be. It is a ultra compound exercise. It pretty much destroys your whole lower body, as well as, a bit of your lower back. And while it's a great exercise, and there's two functions of the quads, right? Pressing and extending. It's like the lats. There's two functions of the lats. To adduct your elbow into, your hip, and then to kind of go like this, right? So, and the reason why I perform both functions of the lats is because I want to prioritize my lats, right? So I train both functions of the lats. But with the quads, I feel like I got pretty big legs. I feel like my quads are relatively large. I don't really care to prioritize them much. And I've neglected the adductors a lot. This isn't an exercise that I really have ever done. I did it a couple of years ago, but then I stopped because I thought it was gay, because I was fucking, I don't know, I was a little gym nooblet. And now I don't really care. It's the best exercise to train your adductors, which for me are neglected. And obviously taking a wider stance on the leg press is going to train them still, and doing the SLDLs is going to train them still, which is why I took that wider stance when I was doing the leg press. But I would like to train them directly, and that's what we're going to be doing going forward. A leg extension still perfectly hits your quads. It hits all four muscles of your quads perfectly fine. So we're just going to do the leg extension, and hopefully the quads will be fine. And the reason why I didn't want to add this and keep doing leg press is because there's too many leg exercises, and well, not too many leg exercises, but just too many exercises for our leg day. And also increasing all the sets to 2 now instead of just doing 1. I didn't want the leg day to be super long, because it's still going to be pretty long even today. And dude, when I was doing the leg press, I was taking like a 10-minute rest after that first set before we hopped on the leg curls or the leg extensions, whatever we were doing after that. But anyways, yeah, so we're going to do our first working set here of 125 pounds. I did do warm-ups because I don't know if the SLDLs warmed the adductors up enough. Maybe next session we'll try not to do warm-ups for this and see how that feels. But just to play it safe today, we did some warm-ups. And first working set going to be 125 pounds. I don't really know how many reps we're going to get here, but I'm going to try and get a good handful of reps and keep that RPE around the same 8 or 9. Okay, I think we got like 9 or 10 reps there. We're definitely going to go up in weight in our second set. We're going to go to 140, and that's a pretty big jump, so maybe we'll only get like 5 reps. But fuck, I don't know, was that 9 or 10 reps? I don't know. I'll have to look back at the footage, but I'd say that was an RPE of 9. 8.5 to 9. We'll put 8.5. I think I could have gotten 2 more. But so 125. I don't know how many reps that was. I'll write 9 reps for now. After I look at the footage, I'll adjust it in the description. So I've got 9 reps, 125 pounds, 9 reps, RPE of 8.5. And on our second set, we'll do 140 pounds and maybe do an RP, or maybe do like 5 or 6 reps. But we're gonna rest up for a few minutes and then go into the second set. All right, the rest for our first set is all done. Gonna get into the second set here. So yeah, we increased the weight from 125 to 140. And we're gonna try and get like 5 or 6 reps here. Okay, 6 reps. Felt pretty good. Honestly, this exercise feels pretty good. But I already know, like, dude, tomorrow my adductors are gonna be fucking on fire. They're gonna be so insanely sore. What is it, 6 reps? Probably an RPE of 8.5 again. Had a significant amount of rep slowdown there on the last couple of reps, but I still think I would have been able to get 2. All right, well, I just messed around a little bit with this attachment that we were using yesterday. I was gonna return it, but I think I might have just found another use for it. I messed around trying to do this exercise a little bit for the last like 5 or 10 minutes. And you know, it felt pretty good actually. So I tried it with the with just the standard rope attachment, and it felt a little uncomfortable. Like I've tried it facing the cable stack, facing away. Facing away feels a little better. But yeah, so this thing's long enough and I can crevice it right into my elbows to kind of get like a good crunch on my abs. And the reason why we're doing this right now over the kind of machine, the plate loaded machine over there, is just because I wanted to try it, you know. If I don't end up liking it, we're still going to return this attachment and then we'll just go back to the other plate loaded machine. But I wanted to try this one. And yeah, there's a lot more opportunity to progressively overload, because that one we were getting close to even just maxing out that machine over there. You know, they can only fit so many plates, whereas this, it's a single pulley cable stack, it's on the lat pull down, you know, and we've got 50 pounds on here, so we're never gonna max it out essentially. But anyways, let's get into the first set here. I don't know how many reps I'm gonna get. I don't know what kind of weight we're working with. I messed around a little bit with like really light weight to try and find a form. And I think I found a good way to execute this exercise. So we might go up in weight, we might go down. I'm not really too sure. Another problem though is because we're facing backwards, our legs aren't gonna be under this to kind of prevent ourselves from pulling our body upwards. But it's a little bit of a lighter weight, so it should be fine. And it's also pretty easy to get in. All I gotta do is get my elbows into here, grab this, sit down, and then crunch. Okay, we'll call it at 11 reps. That was my first time doing a working set, and we're gonna go up to 60 pounds next set. You know, it actually feels pretty good. No idea what the form looks like. I don't even know if I'm doing it properly, but I'll look back at the footage and kind of compare to some other people that have done this one. But yeah, it feels pretty good. I feel it a lot more in my lower abs. And I know you can't really target upper and lower abs, Your abs all have the same function, and it's to flex the spine. So regardless, my upper abs and my lower abs, well, everybody's upper abs and lower abs will be worked in any movement where you're flexing the spine. But I feel it a little more in my lower abs. So that's interesting. But we're gonna rest for a couple minutes, go into the second set. I increased the weight to 60 pounds, so we'll see how many reps we can get there. All right, the rest for our first set is coming to an end here. Yeah, like I said, we increased the weight to 60 pounds. We're gonna try and get like 8 reps at an RPE of around like 9. Yeah, still like it feels pretty good. I still don't know if we're gonna stick with it long term. We'll see. Maybe I'll probably do it next session as well. And if I don't end up like really loving this exercise next session, next leg day, then we'll probably drop it and do something else. Oh, yeah, that fucking kills your abs. Oh, geez. Yeah, felt pretty good though. 60 pounds. I mean, obviously, we still got to work on the form a bit. I'd say that was probably an RPE of 9, which is pretty good. Yeah, definitely go up in weight next session. I think by next leg day, I should be pretty good. Should be feeling at 100% to go to failure on pretty much everything. All right, so we're gonna stop doing the seated calf raise. 2 reasons. First is because too many plates to load up. It's kind of annoying. And second is because straight leg is gonna grow your calves more. So we've got this I don't even know what you call this machine. It's called a linear hack press. So I don't know. I'm probably just gonna name it like leg press calf raise or something like that. But yeah, I just messed around with it a bit and found that 2 plates on both sides is feels pretty good. So we're gonna do this instead of the seated calf raise going forward. Let's see, what do I even call this? Leg press calf raise. Leg press calf extension is what we'll call it. Let's see, I don't know what the starting weight on this thing is, but it felt pretty heavy with no plates on it. Okay, so the starting weight is 110 pounds. So, and then we've got 180 on there. So I think we have 180, 90. Yeah, 180. So 290. 290 is what our weight is going to be. And we're just going to see how many reps we can do. I just kind of did a few reps with 0 plates on it, messed around with it, and then I did a few reps with these plates on it and messed around a bit to kind of see. So we'll just kind of see how many reps we can do for this first set here with 2 plates on both sides. Okay, well, we got 13 reps. We're just gonna increase the weight because that's I don't even know how many more reps I could have gotten. So we'll probably throw a couple more plates on both sides and see what kind of rep range we can get there. I'm not even gonna write an RPE for that. I honestly feel like I could have probably got 20 more. But yeah, we'll rest up for a couple minutes either way. I'm gonna throw 2 more plates on, and then we'll go from there. All right, the rest for our first set is done. So we threw an extra plate on both sides here, and we've got it says 380 pounds now, so maybe we'll try and get like somewhere between 6 and 8 reps. And yeah, I mean, at this point though, like we're loading the same amount of plates that we would on the seated. So maybe I'll just, I don't know. I guess it is easier though, because the plates are already on this machine, whereas when I was doing the seated calf raise, the plates are like 3 meters away, so I've got to like one by one carry them over, whereas on this machine I can just quickly load and unload them. But anyways, we'll do our second set here, 380 pounds, somewhere between 6 and 8 reps. Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. Now we're having the same problem. Just gonna have to keep adding plates on. What was that? What even was that? 11 reps and no idea what an RPE is. We'll throw another plate on and we'll do 1 more set, and hopefully, you know, that'll be heavy enough. So 380, it'd be 470. So hopefully 470 pounds will be heavy enough for our calves. You know, I might just start doing some unilateral work on the calves or something, because we've got the standing calf raise over there. It goes up to 500 pounds, and I can max that thing out no problem. But the one problem that there is with it is there's a lot of spinal compression, and there's a lot of pressures on my shoulders from the pads. So, you know, I get like really heavy bruising on my shoulders, and obviously that's not good. So that's why I don't do that. And this is kind of like a better alternative because I can load more weight, and there's no spinal compression because it's like, I don't know, lower back supported, I guess. But anyways, we'll rest up for a minute. I'm gonna throw another plate on and kind of see how we go from there. All right, well, rest for the second set is done. So we got 470 pounds, and yes, I still want to keep it around that 6 to 8 rep range, but I mean, if we're not gonna fucking be anywhere close to failure, then it's kind of annoying. So I don't know. We'll see how 470 feels. Oh yeah, that feels pretty heavy. Okay, 11 reps, and you know, I can actually say that there was an RPE for that one. 11 reps, probably an RPE of 7.5. Could have got 2 more easily, maybe 3. You know, I think a bigger reason why I stopped is because the balls in my feet were starting to hurt quite a bit due to the angle of this machine here. So I don't really know. Maybe next session we'll do the standing calf raise, the one that I just said I didn't like doing, but instead we'll do it unilaterally so that there's less spinal load and less pressure on my shoulders. Because I don't really know, my calves are just, they're too big and they're too strong. So it's kind of annoying. Okay, so obviously, you know, we, oh shit, I totally just ripped my freaking compression shorts. Anyways, quads are looking pretty good. If you couldn't notice, I shaved my legs. You know, and that's just because better definition, right? Like, ooh, quads are looking really nice. I'm pretty excited to start seeing some more of the heads pop out, you know? Like we get a pretty good visual here on most of the heads, but calves, we just did the calves, so they're gonna be pretty pumped. Calves pretty massive. Yeah, not bad. Maybe I can get a thumbnail here. Okay. Yeah, weighed in this morning, 217. Not bad, getting closer day by day. You know, it's a pretty aggressive cut. We're losing like a pound a day. Maybe we're losing weight a little more faster than I'd like to, but you know what? I think it's okay. I think it's okay. We're getting all our protein in. We're still training. Well, at least we're back to training. Look, there's the hole I just put in my freaking compression shorts. Anyways, so we're pretty much golden on, you know, prevention of losing muscle. And I don't think, I mean, we'll probably be gaining some muscle still as well. Oh yeah, abs, still nothing for the abs. We still got a ways to go for the abs. But yeah, that new ab exercise felt pretty good. We'll definitely do it next sesh. And if I love it, we'll stick with it. If not, then we'll go back to that ab crunch machine over there. But anyways, tomorrow's the rest day, and then we're back with chest and back. So I'll see you guys then.